Hello and welcome to a snowblind episode of the Drywall Podcast. I am your host, Nick Harmon. With us today, we have Hayden Durocher with Durocher Designs Ltd. Hayden is a 28-year-old powerhouse who has been recently thrusted into the social media scene with an amazing capacity to make fresh content, but also new friends. We talk about his early years studying snow resort operations, but also how he worked for free to learn all he could about the drywall industry. You have two. Okay, so when you went to apprentice, so to speak, under these fellas, you worked for free. They put you to work. You wanted to learn the trade. They were aware that you wanted to learn the trade.
Yeah.
And that you were going to be their competitor and probably take all their business.
Correct.
They knew that.
Yeah.
They were willing to take the 6 months of free labor.
Yeah. Oh, it was like a day.
Two weeks.
Here and there. Yeah.
Day.
Oh yeah. There was one guy, he did not like me at all. I just got all my tools and I thought, you just plug and play, but running a box.
Oh, the journeymen are so proud. They're so proud. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We talk about the process of hang finish level 5 drywall and his approach to drywall contracting. We discuss his latest drywall adventure with Sean Ramson of Brawley Stag Construction, Steve with Whitby Drywall, and also Steph with Teak Interiors on a major project and how that job came to be. But we also do a deep dive into his approach to video content and why it's so important to him and to his brand. The Drywall Podcast was brought to you today by Fresco Harmony, making walls better since 2004. Have you been hearing about this Fresco Harmony thing and you're curious to try it? Well, you can receive a free sample pack from our friends up at CSR if you're in Canada, but you can also reach out to me directly if you're here in the United States. Info at frescoharmony.com and we'll get you hooked up. But for now, Hayden Durocher of Durocher Design Ltd. on the 103rd episode of the Drywall Podcast. Let's get into it. Nice hat, dude.
Yeah, you as well.
We're looking sharp.
I'd say so.
Oh boy, we have Hayden. I want to say it correctly. Durocher.
Perfect.
Warminster, Ontario.
That's it.
Not to be confused with Warmonger, Ontario. Dangerous place to live.
Never heard of it. Where's that?
Never heard of her. Cool. We have Hayden Durocher, as I've said before, Durocher Design Ltd. And Hayden and I met recently at the training in Barrie, Ontario. Are you close to Barrie?
Yeah, I'm about half an hour up the highway.
Okay, so that's pretty close. And then we got to hang out a little bit afterwards.
Of course, yeah. We went for dinner with all the lads and it was nice to catch up and kind of dive into it a little bit there.
Yeah, so that's how I know Hayden. Your work is exceptional on social media, specifically Instagram. The video content that you're doing is out of control. We'll get into that. It's just super clean. It's super beautiful. I don't know if you have people do it for you. I don't know if you started out doing it. We're going to dig in. We're going to get into the weeds of Hayden. And you're pretty young. How old are you?
I am 28.
28. That is young, dude.
What's the line? It's like old enough
What's
to
the
know
line?
better, old enough to know better, young enough to not care.
Yeah, for me it was 28 I started Fresco Harmony.
Okay,
Like
very good.
I was doing art before that, but like I I got clean.
Right.
That was a pivotal time.
That was when you were
Around
28.
Yeah, that was when I was 28. Yeah,
Nice, nice.
20
Good for you.
years.
Congratulations.
Got coffee. Are you coffeeed up? Are you good?
Co Coffeeed
Uh,
up. My little
okay.
pumpkin mug. Very nice.
Nice. And what I know about Hayden is that you're a nice guy. It seems like you're a nice guy. Maybe is that just for the video, or are you nice all the time?
I think I'm nice all the time.
You
Yeah,
seem pretty
absolutely.
nice when we met. We had a
I,
good time hanging out.
yeah. You try to be, right? Life's too short to be angry. I don't like bringing
Yeah.
home anger and rage and any of that stuff. So it's always good just to be level-headed and
Yeah.
clear-minded.
And are you living? You seem pretty successful for as young as you are. How long have you been running your own business?
So I started it first year into COVID. I worked at a local ski hill. I guess backtrack a little bit. I went to school for
Two.
snow resort operations.
That's a great time to start a business, right?
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
I'm going to start a business and then pandemic. It's like, no, you're not. No, you're not, rookie.
So yeah, started at a ski hill. I made snow.
Nice.
Um, and I was there for about 5 or 6 years. And COVID happened. That was a non-essential job. So, I went and
Wait a
looked for,
second. Wait a
yep,
second. Which ski resort?
Mount St. Louis.
Mount St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I was 28, I was in a ski resort too, town, Crested Butte, Colorado. I'm a big
Okay.
skier. Yeah,
Okay.
I like to ski. You are a skier, I would assume.
Yeah, both.
You
Both.
look like a skier, but you do both.
Oh, the old knuckle dragger every now and then. Of
Okay.
course.
All right. I
Of
never
course.
made the transition.
Yeah.
I was skiing before. I remember I learned on Mount Hood in
Mm-hmm.
Oregon. I
Mm-hmm.
remember skiing before snowboarding was there. And I
Before it was
remembered,
allowed.
no, I mean, it was totally loud. Like it didn't gain a stigma until after it started to gain in popularity. But when it first came out, people were like, "Oh, that's cool. What are they doing?" And then it like got started to get popular, and the skiers, pulled an attitude about it. But
Oh, big time.
yeah, it just started to emerge. People had these like makeshift boards that
Of
they were
course.
riding on, and were like,
The old what
yeah,
was it, the Smurfer or something with the like the Razorback, the long wooden tying
yeah,
board.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think Burton was one of the
Burton.
first to come out, and then yeah, and then the mono. Remember the mono ski? Do you
Of
ever have
course. Of
you ever?
course. And the matching neon jumpsuits.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Of
was like my
course.
day. That was my day.
Oh, those were the good days.
Yeah, and the longer the ski, the better.
Of course.
And if you don't know anything about skiing, now it's shorter, a little shorter, twin tip. They got the
Of course.
camber.
Mm.
There's a lot of different types of skis now. I need a new pair, but I only ski 4 or 5 times a year. My son's learning, so that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Totally.
expensive sport. It is. And those
Hmm.
the kids
Yeah.
grow and they wear their ski boots for one season. You got to go to the ski
Yeah.
swap and switch everything over. But it's
Yeah.
my kid was doing lessons this past winter and he's really taken to it. So I'm really happy.
Yeah. Yeah. My son too. He's good at it, and so he can do like some blacks and,
Nice.
I'm pushing him and he hangs right there with me. I mean, he can, the big thing is learn how to turn, be in control, and you can ski anything.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of where we're at. But, so are you married?
I am. Yes.
Okay. How long married?
5 years.
5 years. Congratulations. And how many kiddos?
I got two kids, Jackson 5 and Isla 2.
Nice.
Yeah. Whole lot of fun.
You are the second person on the podcast in succession with a child named Jackson.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, we thought we were
we had called Jamie on was the last
Right.
episode. It's a good one. Like he's
Painting and drywall.
yeah, call Jamie painting and drywall. Does like the
Yeah.
popcorn ceiling stuff. We talk a little bit about popcorn ceilings and all that. But
He's almost got just as good of a business start off as I do. I started during a global pandemic and he started one over a couple beers and a high
yeah,
five.
I love that. I love that. It's like let's start a painting company. It reminds me of the Brothers movie with Will Ferrell. It's like hell yeah, you
Yeah.
know.
Do you want to go
Uh,
build bunk
yeah,
beds?
yeah, like that.
Oh, jeez.
But it's painting, like I mean,
Boring.
yeah. Okay, so how old are we when we begin or go to the ski resort? Because I love that start. It's like I'm
hmm
gonna go be a ski bum. What better thing is there to
hmm
be as
hmm
I would assume 19-year-old or so,
Yeah,
20-year-old.
so into college, I was 18, and then 19. Um, and it was a 2-year program. The program no
Okay.
longer exists, unfortunately. They just didn't have the enrollment to carry it forward. So I think I was the third last graduating class.
Okay.
Um,
What was the
and
program?
snow resort operations.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
It was
love
like
it. I love
just a
this
little bit better
trajectory.
than high school.
Yeah, this I'm trying to figure out how the fuck you went over to drywall, but like, all right. Snow. I'm gonna go study snow. And then
Yeah,
maybe be a ski bum, but you're not gonna be a ski bum with a degree. You're gonna be a educated ski bum.
that's right.
Yeah.
Smarter
So
than all the rest of them.
but this is no longer a field of study in college. They were like, there's too many boneheads taking these classes. This
Yeah,
we can't
it
make this
was
work.
it was a phenomenal program. The
Okay.
opportunities that came with it were endless, and the connections within that industry were great.
Okay.
Uh, the course coordinator, Robert Butler, he is very well known up in this ski area, pioneer to the ski industry, I'd say. Um, and he was super helpful. And in that program, you'd get a bunch of goofs and kind of people who didn't want to take education seriously, but they wanted to do something in college. But he really helped us all along and get us through the program, and we learned a whole lot. And yeah,
Good. Like
yeah, he was,
avalanche
yeah, yeah.
awareness.
So we did that. We did.
Did you do backcountry stuff?
I did. So not within the program. We did a game of hide and seek one time at a ski hill, and we had to use the beacons to try and find
Okay.
the people. So
Yep.
something a little bit like that. But so my first co-op with the program, I went to, oh no, it would have been my second one. Sorry. I went to Lake Louise and spent a season there and learned a whole lot about backcountry safety and stuff like that. Yeah, but
Okay.
within the program, you do a lot of like welding, some trade stuff, lift mechanics, and then the whole business side, entrepreneurship, accounting, marketing, all the behind the scenes and whatever it takes to run a resort.
Cool. Did you have an interest in the world of resort? So you had an
Definitely.
interest in that world, like on a corporate level?
Yes. Yeah. So I remember going to the Toronto Snow Show one year and there was one booth kind of just giving out CDs and I just took all the freebies I could and
Yeah.
then went home and watched the movie. And it was Island Lake cat skiing. And I fell in
Okay.
love.
Yeah.
Just the way they put the movie together. And I was like, I had a dream and it was like, I want to work here. I want to go do that. And then
Okay.
obviously, of course, as you grow up, you learn that, there's certain positions within the industry that you just don't make enough money, blah, 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 unless you're
Yeah.
running the show. But that's what really got my passion going
Sure.
was cat skiing. Never
Hence
been.
the term ski bum. Like
hmm
if you're listening and you've never like really experienced that world, they'll pay you enough. Even the ski instructors, they
Yeah,
They you do
you're
it, you
doing
do
it.
it to ski
Yeah, you're doing it
or
for the
board.
ski pass, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cat skiing. You've heard of Silverton then, I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay, we're pretty close to Silverton.
Nice. Nice. Have you ever been cat
Although
skiing?
I've never been. Yeah, I would like to
Mm,
go. I also skied Alyeska in Alaska, and I know they do helicopter skiing.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm
that's on the
yet
list
to
as well.
do Silverton. Timing's a big deal when you get into that
Hmm.
cat skiing.
Yeah.
Um, I just haven't done it yet, but I do. We went to Wolf Creek last year. Wolf Creek is phenomenal. Just the snow in Colorado's
Oh, no doubt.
so good, so deep. It was the deepest I've ever skied. Like
It's fun.
so, like
It's amazing.
Wolf Creek has these routes where you go up and you can traverse, like take off your skis, hike up,
Yep.
traverse across, and
Hmm.
just it access tons of untouched powder. And then they do
Hmm.
have a run where you can jump on the back of a cat and like
Nice.
the cat sort of takes you out to this bowl. And I remember it was so deep, like I took two turns and I fell over in the snow, and it took me about 5 minutes. I look like an idiot to
Yeah,
the
you're
guys
swimming.
but it was so deep that I wasn't familiar.
Right.
You just really have to like be gentle and be on
Oh
top
yeah.
of it. And then I ended up skiing out, but like I've never been stuck that bad in powder. Like
Yeah,
it
well,
was
it's
amazing.
more like if you're like inverted, your head's going
Yeah, they're
downhill
just
and you're
like,
trying to swim around in the snow to try and get your skis
and you
off or
push your
something.
pole down, your pole just goes into the snow, and you're just like, "Ah."
Yeah, lots
Yeah.
of fun. It's
Love
always a
talking
good
about
time.
skiing. I didn't know you skied, so yeah, that's
Yep.
cool. So when you come down to do some fresco harmony, we'll go. We won't do fresco. We'll just go skiing.
Yeah, we'll get someone else to do it. I like this
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. We'll just. I'm only 4 hours from Wolf Creek, Colorado. And then we got Taos, which is off the hook. But
Nice.
we also have Durango.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of good ski. Santa Fe is even pretty phenomenal. Like
Hmm. Hmm.
for skiing, they've got a nice ski area.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yep. Okay, so you graduate from this program, you get a job in this industry. How long are we in this industry for?
In the skiing,
Yeah,
so I worked at Mount Saint, well,
St. Louis.
yeah, Mount St. Louis. So I think I'm getting this all backwards now on my
That's
calendar.
okay. That's
I
all right.
think my first year I did, yeah, that's right. First year I did ski school and rentals
Okay.
for my co-op program and at Mount St. Louis. And second year I went out west, came back, did a little on and off. I wasn't steady throughout college. I took a summer off and kind of jumped around, worked
Yeah,
construction
because
and
the
some other
skiing's not
things.
as good up there, right? These resorts are not like great resorts.
No. Yeah,
No.
no, you're on the chairlift for 5 minutes and skiing down in 10
Yeah,
seconds.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you
And
went out west to maybe a little better resort
yeah, so I
experience.
worked at Whistler,
Yeah,
Blackcomb for a little
there you
while,
go.
and then I
Okay.
did Lake Louise, a little bit of off-season stuff as well, and then came home um, and met the love of my life and
Okay.
settled down
Beautiful. Love it.
and went back to the Mount St. Louis and went to this snowmaking department and kind of just stayed. I loved it.
Yeah.
I really grew a passion for the science behind snowmaking and the infrastructure and what goes in behind all the scenes, right? So you can get a
Okay.
nice ski run. So I
Yeah.
stayed on full time year round and kind of got my hands a little more into the construction side. It's a very labor intensive job in the winter, of course, dragging the snow guns all around. They
Yeah.
were kind of leading the pack for automation at the time, and they still are. So you
Okay.
could just kind of click on all the snow fans and guns from a button. And in the
Cool.
summertime, we jump to pipelines and install new ductile and HDPE pipe. So we
Okay.
do all new pipelines up the ski runs, and yeah, really loved it. Like I said, COVID happened, and we were all out, and so I had to figure it out on my own.
So COVID forced you to, and then you met a friend and he was like, let's start a drywall business. And you gave him a high five, and the rest is history.
Kind of, except I had no friend. Give
Why
myself
in
a
the
big
world? Why in the world drywall? Like what sparked that? I mean, I assume you're first generation.
yes, yes.
Okay. All right.
So it didn't start out as drywall. In fact, I despised drywall when I started my company. I did a
Okay.
lot of painting, flooring,
Okay.
renovations. I did the whole package. Um, and then, I think that's just the way of the universe laughing at you when you hate something. And the only jobs I was getting or called for were drywall patches and repairs or leaks or small stuff. And at the time, I only had a little plastic pan and a 6-inch knife and maybe a 10-inch knife.
Yeah.
Um,
That's all
and
you need.
that's all you need. But, you know, as of course, as you progress and, it just naturally happened and more drywall jobs, more drywall, and then you invest in the tools and, that starts making it a lot easier and just constantly reinvesting into the company. And
How
now
old
we're here.
are you on the timeline here? So that's 2020, so maybe 24-ish.
Yeah, 23, 24. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And
How long did you do that for, patching, before you were like at a certain point you had to have like said to yourself, I'm throwing in, like, I'm just going to do
mhm,
drywall. These patches pay pretty well. I've got the tools now. It's nice to
mhm,
focus on one thing
of
instead of
course.
doing a bunch of different shit. It always seemed
Yeah.
like to me, a remodeling seemed like a nightmare. Lot
Yeah.
to
And
know.
I was a one-man show and
Right.
trying to do these basement finishings, framing, installation, doing it all by myself. It got quickly too much to handle, and all the tools that go with all
Right.
the trades got expensive and kind of out of control. So I'd say it was within towards the end of my first year. I just,
Okay.
and then it picked up a pretty good drywall job and little basement finishing. And then I got my first set of tools.
How did you know how to do that stuff though? Nobody taught you.
So I little bit
You
of
watched Myron Ferguson, didn't you, on YouTube? You watched Myron Ferguson's videos. You got Myron Ferguson's book and
yeah,
you read his book.
uh, wealthy barber.
Wealthy barber. What's that?
Oh, I think it's the dude from Shark Tank, and he wrote a book, just like a successful businessman story kind of thing.
I
Um,
haven't heard of that. It's called Wealthy Barber.
yes,
I
yes, I
like
can't
it.
remember the name of the author right now, but
You have
uh,
heard of Myron Ferguson's book though, right?
negative.
Negative. It sold like 500,000 copies. He got a publishing deal.
Wow,
Yeah, he's like yeah, he put his kids through college. Like
very good.
he's in Home Depot and Lowe's and shit, like
Okay, okay.
fine home building, like magazine. He's been in there. He does like presentations because as he says in his interview with me, let's face it, drywall's fascinating. And it kind of is if you're like looking in from the outside. It's kind of
Right,
interesting.
right, totally.
Funny.
Yeah.
So you just picked it up. You sort of learned. How did you
hmm
learn?
Definitely self-taught.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean, a lot of homework, and screwing up and figuring it out and, talking to people within the industry. And then you start to meet some other tapers and finishers. And then
yeah,
there's a couple guys, I just went to their job site and didn't even charge them and just kind of see how they did things and studied and figured it out.
smart, smart. The you went and observed essentially,
Yep. Oh,
and
I
just
got put to
learned.
work. I got
Yeah,
put to work.
they kicked your ass,
Absolutely.
and you learned. That's pretty
Yeah.
smart though. That's a smart approach. I was thinking like it'd be fun to learn welding that way. Like go just
Mhm.
work with a welder for 6 months. Fucking, I'll
I
help you
don't know.
out. Just
Yeah.
learn how to weld. You
Yeah.
could do that with anything.
Yep.
I mean,
Absolutely.
you could take one aspect of the construction industry per year and like
hmm
learn it if you wanted to be like a general contractor or something.
Yeah, I would love that. I think that I mean, I say that now. I think that's where I want to take my
Yeah.
company, my
You
brand
want
is
to
to.
you want to build houses.
I would love to build houses.
Cool.
I
Cool.
think long term. I think long term down the road, that's
Yeah.
where I would like to be. But being in the drywall industry, you get to see everything. You get to see the house when it's framed. So you get to see a lot of how things are done, the
Yeah.
plumbers, and you got
Yeah.
to meet and talk with a lot of different tradespeople and
Yeah.
do some networking there. And yeah,
Yeah, you do. You get to see sort of how the infrastructure behind the walls,
absolutely. Yeah.
is how everything's put together. The plumbing's always kind of interesting to me, like how they
Hmm.
do the timeline of things that go into building a house is interesting to me.
Oh,
And it's something like you could turn the crank on that and really refine it. I know some builders here that are extraordinary, like custom home builders are like
hmm
they've got it
hmm
dialed. They know exactly what they're doing.
And the
And
same trades
it's
every
a
time.
moneymaker. Like, let's face it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Those GCs aren't like they're making money.
Hmm.
Yeah. Very
Somebody
cool.
has
Where
to.
Yeah, somebody has to. And not to say that the drywall is done. I think you guys up in Canada do a little better than a lot of us down here. There are pockets and areas that do well in the drywall industry in the United States. I
Hmm.
think you guys are doing pretty well up there, though. I don't know. I could be
I think
wrong.
so.
Seems like you do well, you
Yeah,
know.
it's been very steady. There's a lot of coordinating, of course, and trying to get one job lined up for the next, so there's no days off for the guys and just keeping the show going. But it's
How many guys you have?
I have two.
You have two. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you went to apprentice, so to speak, under these
Hmm.
fellas, you worked for free. They
Hmm.
put you to work. You wanted to learn the trade. They were aware that you wanted to learn the trade
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
you were going to be their competitor and probably take all their business.
Correct.
They knew that.
Yeah.
They were willing to take the 6 months of free labor.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't, it was like a day,
Two
day
weeks.
here and there. Yeah. Oh
Dang.
yeah. There was one guy, he did not like me at all. I just got all my tools and I
Nice.
thought, oh, you just plug and play, but
Yeah.
running a box
Oh,
wide
the
open on
journeymen are
third
so
coat.
proud. They're so
Oh yeah.
proud.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Get at easy there,
Yeah.
Cub.
Yeah. No, I'm good.
I've
I'm
been
good. Let's
doing this
go.
for 20 years.
That's it.
Yeah. 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 I was always like, give me the box. I can run that thing, man. No, no.
No, 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 no.
Go spot
Stick to
those
the sanding
screws.
pole,
Go
fella.
spot those screws over there. Yeah, sanding pole.
Yeah.
Go thin down my mud,
Yeah.
rookie. Yeah, I was an apprentice. It was worse. That I'm always so envious of you young people who had the wherewithal to like start your own business early. I wasn't quite there. I did
Hmm.
start and then Fresco Harmony, nightmare. Like I'm gonna go to Albuquerque and I'm gonna do color joint compound walls and like seek my fortune that way. And it was just so ludicrous. Like it was such a ludicrous idea. But that's what I did. And I starved and I was a hippie and like I didn't care,
Yeah, yeah.
didn't matter.
What's your line? 20-year overnight success.
Yeah, exactly. So
Hmm.
I wouldn't trade it for the world though. I do love doing what I'm doing now. I
Hmm.
had no idea that I would be a product manufacturer and sell a product.
Right.
Not even on my radar. And it's not even something that I thought I would enjoy as much
Really.
as I do. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's great.
So you were doing some drywall art or something like that, and then that's how you got your inspiration
I
to
was
color.
working in Crested Butte doing
Yep.
drywall for CB Drywall, and I
Hmm.
was doing like art shows. I was making art pieces on sheetrock
Hmm.
with mud with colored joint compound and
Hmm.
sealing it. And I thought that was just the cat's meow. I was like, and then we did a plaster project, and I was like, you could
This
do this with
sucks.
mud.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do
Yeah.
this with mud. And then I made a couple samples, and I knew the general contractors in Crested Butte. They build these beautiful large homes,
Hmm.
and we had a cool crew over there. I made decent money, you know, doing drywall, finishing drywall, and skiing.
Yeah.
I
It's
would even
life.
camp out. Yeah, I would camp out in the summer, like out in, you could spend 2 weeks in each watershed, and I would
Yeah.
like live. I would put all my stuff in storage and live out in the woods
Oh,
in a
perfect.
pop-up. Yeah,
Perfect.
I liked it. Drive into town every day,
Yeah. Go get my
Um,
loaf of bread and craft dinner.
yeah, well, I would go to the hostel. There's a hostel in Crested Butte, and I would go to the hostel and I would take a shower. They had like showers for $2 or
Hmm.
whatever. I would wash my clothes while I was in the shower and then throw everything in a bag and head back out to the woods. Just
Hippies. Hippies.
total hippie.
Oh
Yeah, there
yeah.
was a lot of hippies in Crested Butte though. Like my boss followed the Grateful Dead. He was a cordon bleu chef. He was a rock hound. He was like this eclectic. He did all kinds of weird stuff, but he was a drywall contractor too.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, that's kind of, how all that came to be. I was like, you could kind of do this with mud and, I started to play around with it.
That's
But the
awesome.
general contractors laughed at it. They were like,
Oh, of
the
course.
first samples I made were ridiculous. They looked like some trippy psychedelic like mess, you know.
Here- Here's a
And
tie-dye sample.
they were like, no. Yeah, it wasn't like, oh, people just like, a lot of pushback. Oh, and the other funny story was that I got in trouble. I got a DUI, part of like I cleaned up in Crested Butte and like part of my, I had community service. And
Hmm.
so I ended up the fire station needed a new ceiling. They had a bunch of patches on their ceiling, and I
Hmm.
talked them into doing a sky on their ceiling.
Oh,
Like,
that's awesome.
so
Like
I was
blue and
like,
white.
yeah, like blue and white, fix the patches, and then I blew over it with Fresco Harmony. So I was doing that like right out of the gate.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
Does
kind
that
of fun.
ceiling still stand?
I don't know. I would have to go back, I mean, 20 years ago. So it's
Yeah,
been it's
that'd
been
be
a
really cool to
while.
go back.
It would. Anywho, so you learn from these guys. Are they learning the tools? Is this your first introduction to the automatic tools? Are you like, oh, these guys are using the automatic tools? That's cool. Was that a revelation to you?
So one guy was hawking trowel. Um, Another guy had all the tools. It was a little bit of everything everywhere. But definitely, you pick stuff up from anybody. Like we
Yeah,
just did the big collab project recently with
yeah. What?
T
What? Don't
uh,
jump
uh,
ahead. Don't jump ahead.
uh. But what I was gonna say, like even now I'm still learning stuff. Like you have to
Oh
learn
yeah,
every single day. Like
yeah.
you don't get stuck in your ways doing things, be susceptible and open to new ideas, new concepts.
Yeah, well, and easier too. Being a younger person, you're naturally more open because you've got the
Hmm.
internet now. You've got
Of course.
social media, access
Hmm.
to all these different styles and techniques. Now we're doing these adventures,
Hmm.
so we're getting to meet people in the industry. It's becoming more community oriented, and you just have access to this like encyclopedia of drywall where it's kind of dickish to be a dick
Yeah.
nowadays. It
Yeah.
used to be maybe more accepted, but now it's like, no, you don't want to be a dick. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
not cool.
if you're not going to help me out, I'll just go Google it.
Yeah, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
watch Drywall Shorty's got 250 million videos that you can watch, and she's a complete expert.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, she comes up a lot. A lot of people watch her videos.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a couple of them when I was getting going,
yep,
and you just watch the videos over and over, and you just study them.
right.
Absolutely. She'd be one of them, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then the Drywall Doctor, he got a lot of hits on
Oh, of
YouTube.
course.
Like that
Of
guy,
course.
that was a pretty good interview. He's a pretty good guy.
So I
Um,
tried, he had a little care package, I don't know, a couple years back. You could buy like a little doctor
yeah,
package
yeah,
or
the
something.
Doctor kit. We
Doctor.
talked about it. Like he
Yeah,
pulls
yeah.
out on our interview, he pulls out like all the little things in the kit, like a little
Hmm.
roll of tape, and he's
Yeah.
got like little plastic knife.
Yeah.
I love it.
I was gonna buy it way back, and then I ended up I don't even know. I just went to Home Depot and bought the cheap of the cheap. But yeah, that's funny. He was definitely one
Yeah,
of them. That's
yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, it was kind of his. It was a good concept. He ended up sending me a shirt. So yeah,
Nice.
and he doesn't give those to too many people. So I have a drywall doctor shirt. I feel pretty proud about that.
Nice.
It's a close second to my Durotech hat.
Absolutely. And then
Yeah.
that It's Your Man Cam shirt you're rocking too.
This is gold. This is like
Yeah.
gold.
I just got a package in the mail yesterday. Check this.
Oh, snap. Hmm.
Uh-huh.
Have you
Uh-huh.
met the Gilbert taping girls?
Have not, but we have a lot
Super
of
cool.
banter back and forth on the internet and we goof around a lot.
Yeah, yeah, they're
Yeah.
so nice.
Yeah.
They're really quiet, they're kind of shy, but very
Hmm.
nice. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, cool. So, how long does it take for Hayden to maybe procure his first project? And was that scary for you? Like getting a house?
Like my first custom home,
Yeah.
you're talking?
And I assume you're just finishing, you're not hanging.
We hang and finish.
You do hang and finish. Okay.
Yeah.
So taking on hang finish level 5 project, that's a pretty big endeavor.
Hmm.
What was that like for you? Your first one, if you can remember.
So they started small. They were like
Hmm.
garage finishings in some subdivisions. And then that went to like basement restorations and recovery projects.
Okay.
So it kind of just built up. But my first I call it was a renovation. They lifted a cottage down to the studs, added a basement, and it was definitely bit off way more than I could chew.
Okay.
Um, and I think halfway through the projects, the client, we worked really well together and they understood where I was at. But,
Okay.
it was a lot of long days and a lot of burning out, but made it happen. It was about 200 sheets of board.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
and I mean, you still probably turned a profit, I would
Oh, of
imagine,
course. Of course. Of
but
course.
it was challenging for you. What was challenging about it?
Just the workload for one guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't
Yeah.
have help at that point.
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
So drywall lift out and then
You
and
hung
then
that you hung all that by yourself.
yeah. Yeah.
Challenging. That's pretty ambitious.
It was it was too much. It was
Were you
too much.
using yeah, were you using a lift? Okay.
Or you jimmy rig some little kickstands onto the wall and you put the one side of the sheet up and
Yeah.
little when you don't have hands, you make hands.
Yeah. It's a bitch.
Yeah, yeah, it
Like fuck
sucks.
that.
Yes.
Nothing about hanging ever appealed to me. Like
Yeah.
I was scared of it. I was like, no thanks. I don't want to learn that. I'll stay over here.
I
I
think
love
why
the
I'm
mud though. Always love the
yeah,
mud. Do you like the mud?
love the mud.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
I
we all
definitely
have that in
prefer
common.
yeah. Into day one or two of hanging the board, I'm all excited and giddy for a new project. And
Yeah.
then, when it's getting to day 3 or 4, I'm like, I just want to start taping. I don't want
Totally.
to do this anymore.
Totally. Oh, do you maybe are you going to get to a point where you just start subbing out the hanging, which is that's the natural progression of the drywall contractor.
Um, I like the profit margins of doing it in-house more than I do
Okay.
subbing it out.
Of
And
course.
my one guy, I think prefers hanging the drywall over taping.
Oh, okay.
So, so it,
Cool.
he like, they like it. It keeps them busy.
Yep. True
It's not the
that.
hardest
Yeah.
job.
No, no. And it can be satisfying. The little bit that I've done, as hard as it was, I didn't hate it. It's
Hmm.
kind, you get to use math and you get to,
Hmm.
put these pieces together and you really see the home come together. It's pretty cool.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always
Yeah.
love when the clients walk in and then they haven't seen it since like framing inspection or insulation, and then they come in and they have
Right.
walls and ceilings now. Totally changed
Right.
the house.
Right. Okay. So you have these two employees now,
Hmm.
probably into COVID, pretty good. How did this well, into COVID, we're like through COVID,
Yeah.
for the most part. How did this collaboration? Let's talk little bit about that. I mean, maybe you saw Sean, he's got these projects going. How did you and Sean meet? That's interesting.
It was at a CSR event in Barrie, the
Okay.
Contractors and Coffee. I think
Ah,
McNeil put that event on.
okay.
Um, yeah, and I just bouncing around, chatting
Yeah,
with everyone, and then I was
sure.
talking to somebody else, and we bumped into each other, and then started talking, and then we stayed. The event was over, and then we all stayed and hung out, and got to know each other a little bit better. And then I think
Okay,
end of the night, he's like, "You want to come on my podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, absolutely." I've
cool,
listened to every
cool.
single episode. Of course I do.
Yeah. Nice, nice. Yeah, and if you don't know, Hayden has been on Sean Ramson's podcast, Brawley's Dad podcast. Go check it out. Those
Hmm.
episodes over there. So you meet Sean, the seeds sort of planted, and then you
Hmm.
see these guys, myself included, these adventures are sort of happening.
Yep.
Was it you that reached out? You saw an opportunity for an adventure and reached out to Sean, or how did that come to be?
So, so it was definitely I owe a lot of credit to Sean. So he was
Sure.
like, dude, don't say no to work. And I never do, but I always like to do just one job at a time because
Okay.
jumping around is a little bit chaotic.
Yeah.
And then and not even like 2 days later, I get a call and he's like, I got two houses side by side. Come look at them. I'm like, okay, no problem. I'm like, when are you looking to have these done? He goes like, now. I'm like, oh, perfect, because I'm
Like
swamped.
Sean had two houses side by side?
No, no,
No,
the
somebody
builder.
else.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I call Sean and I go, so remember that time you told me not to say no to work? So I got these two houses that are ready to go
Okay.
like in a week. So chatted with him about it and so who do you want on the team? And I kind of said me, you, Steve. And then we went to your
Okay.
event at the Barrie store and I guess Steph called Sean over the phone and was like, oh, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And they got to chatting and then he comes over to me, pulls me aside, he goes, what do you think about Steph coming out for this project? I'm like,
Yeah.
absolutely. So then we sat down and looked at the numbers again and made it work and then it just kind of came to
And
be.
how did you, and that's Steve Whitby,
Whitby Drywall. That's correct.
Whitby Drywall. And how did you just go straight like we're going to split this
Yeah,
project? It's going to be we'll split it four ways or whatever.
more or less. Yep, exactly.
Okay. And how do you work
Exactly.
that though with your crew? Was your crew on it or you left them on the other job?
So they were on the other job and then they
Okay.
had a day or so of in between stuff and it all just worked out so perfectly. So I pulled them
Okay.
to the house. So they did all the pre-fill and the corner bead installation and then went back and then rinse and repeat on the second house. We were sanding, finishing up. They were prepping the next house for us so we could just walk in and run the taper.
Uh, okay, cool. Very cool. I want to back up a little bit. You have been doing some really cool video stuff, and it probably, and like that seems like also a perfect storm. Hayden's doing this amazing video work, and I don't know how you're doing it. I want to talk about it a little bit. Did you start doing video content on your own, and then you're like, why am I doing it on my own? I want to hire like a company that's really good at it.
Hmm.
How, because your video content is very pro. A lot of people do their own video content. It fascinates me because I do my own
Hmm.
video content. I can't afford to pay somebody.
Hmm.
I'm getting better at it. Like, I'm watching people. It's like, okay, you know,
Hmm.
this person's really good at video content. Why are they good at video content? It does fascinate me. As I'm sure it probably fascinates you. Take me down that process because your video content is really good. Were you good at your own and then you hired somebody? How does that
Right.
work?
So, I guess part of growing a business and a brand is having a presence within the social media community. So, it all started out with doing pictures and like documenting my work, like a portfolio style. And then like again back to Sean Ramsden, he gave me the kick in the butt and said, you got to put yourself out there more and like really do more daily stuff. And
This was after this Barrie event.
no,
This was
yes, it would have been. on his first
Okay,
podcast.
pretty recent though. Like you sort of
Oh yeah.
thrusted onto the scene
Mm-hmm.
fairly recently, but you were just doing fantastic video content out of the gate. You're
Hmm.
just a natural at
Yeah.
it.
I wouldn't say I'm a natural, the editing softwares do all the work, right? You just have to have
Yeah.
half of a vision and kind of put
Sure.
it together, put some good music over it and
You're being modest, but I mean, certain things come easy to me. Video is not one of them, man. I've really had to work at it.
Mhm.
What editing platforms do you use?
So I started out just utilizing the Instagram editing software, and then that became
Okay.
apparent that it just wasn't they really withhold a lot of opportunity and capabilities.
They
So then
keep
I
your
went,
shit like
yeah,
the play. You don't
yeah,
own it. Like if
right,
same with TikTok, right?
exactly. So then I went to CapCut and I did a lot of stuff on there. And it's an okay software. It just they don't work well with between Instagram and TikTok. So if you want to upload something, you got to change the audio, but then you got to re-edit it so the audio works out with it.
You still have to do that anyways, right? Like
Yeah.
if I do something on TikTok, I guess so will TikTok allow you to use music? Here's my issue. It's like the
Hmm.
music. Like
Hmm.
I even if I edit a video, I use iMovie. So if I edit a
Hmm.
video in iMovie and I put it on TikTok, they're only going to give me like what is it, 30 seconds of
Yeah. Yeah. And then it cuts you out.
fuck you,
It's why.
TikTok. Yeah, and then you do like silence. Like it makes me not want to like just use that platform. Like just fuck
Yeah,
off.
that's where I'm at.
Why does Instagram allow you to use music and put like little give them props, give the music props. Like that seems
Yeah,
like totally legitimate.
absolutely.
Uh and then TikTok wouldn't. It makes no sense. But if you edit in TikTok, you can use the full music. Is that the deal?
I don't even know. I don't.
Okay.
I've started to try like just get my toes wet again with TikTok, and
Ugh.
it's too
Yeah.
much work and it's too much headache, and
Yeah.
doing social media in and of itself is a full-time job. So I try and
Right.
not limit the presence, but definitely be more specific as to where the brand is present.
And then do you share to Facebook also?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
I think they're linked up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. But and you're still using CapCut.
Yeah, CapCut, Adobe Premiere,
Okay.
and I just tried out or paid for DaVinci Resolve, but my computer isn't strong enough to run that
Okay.
software,
Okay.
unfortunately, but that would have been pretty cool because you can do some crazy stuff in there.
The other challenge I've found with, especially with long format content like podcasts, and I save all
Hmm.
these, like I'll
Hmm.
save all your content into a file on an external, like I put it onto an
Yeah.
external hard drive. There's no way I could save all this
Yeah, yeah.
on my computer. So that is also added challenge. Very cool. So you had an affinity for video content. It's Durotech has a good presence on Instagram now, but you decide to bring in some sort of outside entity
Hmm.
production company. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I was chosen by Columbia Tools to highlight their new carbon fiber auto taper. And I guess part of that deal is they give
You
you
got knighted. You got knighted by
I
Columbia.
I got dubbed, absolutely.
The
That's Sir
golden
Hayden
touch.
to you now. Sir
Yeah.
Hayden.
Sir Hayden of Columbia Tools. Aaron, you were like nailed down. Aaron's like with the bazooka on the other
Yes.
side of your shoulder.
Yes, I love that. So, um, it kind of goes hand in hand, all of this with kind of
Yes.
starting to work with brands. It's totally uncharted waters with me.
Yeah.
This is all new within the last, call it 6 months.
Everybody like I mean Aaron, I talked to Aaron, he's like it's like the Wild West.
Yeah,
And there's a
totally.
lot of truth to that. Like all of this marketing
Hmm.
strategy, these adventures, influencers, it's all sort of molded, so to speak.
Yes. And it's definitely very saturated up here. I don't know what it's
Yeah,
like down where you are, but it seems to be like everyone wants to do it. And that's, I me myself being a person like that, like, you pick and choose the brands you want to work with and whether or not they want to work with you.
sure.
And so they gave me the taper, and to reciprocate the cost of the tool, I kind of went, well, this deserves high quality videos. So I had to put
Smart.
out
That's smart.
I have one coming out today, um just to highlight the taper. And I said, I got some buddies that are in the videography photography company business, sorry,
Okay.
Studio 204. Check them out.
Okay.
They are wicked. um
And they have a page, Studio, say that slow, Studio Tool,
204.
Studio 204.
Yes,
And
yes,
that's they have an Instagram page and all that.
of course,
People can go
of
follow
course,
Studio 204. Okay. And they're out of
absolutely.
uh
Warminster.
okay, Warminster. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And how did you know these ballers?
My neighbors.
Neighbors. Okay,
Yeah, neighbors. Our
cool.
kids play, and you
Now,
get to
did
know each
you
other.
pay
And
these guys or were they willing to do it? How did that work?
so we worked it out. I've done a couple
Okay.
drywall jobs for them.
The old barter system.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So we did a couple days of labor in between jobs for them, and I said, "Well, what do you think about just making me a couple videos?" And so we worked it out that way.
Cool.
So yeah, absolutely. And yeah, we had them on site. They shot some videos, and it's, when you hire a pro that
Yeah.
devotes their attention and passion
It's
to one
like,
thing, it's, I never understood it. I think my first experience with it was my wedding video. We had a guy with a drone. Me and this kid used to skateboard in high school and ski and snowboard,
right.
and he does, all that video stuff. So I had him shoot my wedding, and just what came out of it was, I was like, oh my goodness, like I could never do something like that. So, yeah, so,
Yeah.
if you want to work with a brand and they want to work with you, I think there's a standard to be. I'm not just going to take the free tool and run with it and, take a
Well,
crappy
some
picture.
people do. Some people do. My argument for that would be like, oh, well, you're paying these Studio 204 to you. That's money out of your pocket where you could probably get away. Aaron's not going to break your balls. You could probably get away with making a remedial video about the predator,
Oh, you definitely could have.
and you guys would have had great content. You guys are, at this adventure that you were just on with Steve and Teak and Sean, you're
Hmm.
still doing a lot of content on your phone,
Of course.
but there was a lot of content. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Like you don't
Of course.
have to do that. I think it's smart because it bolsters your relationship with Columbia.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's, there's a little bit of strategy and mindset behind all of that, of course. Like I really wanted to work with Columbia and do some type of partnership because I was working with level 5 before, and
How was that?
just didn't really like the way their ambassador program was kind of set up, and their community, they didn't really make you feel great. So,
How's it
I
set up? The level five. How's
just
level five set up different than Columbia? Because I think Columbia is doing like a where they have specific people that they represent, like they're
hmm
representing
hmm
influencers. Is that different than level five?
I think level 5 comes at you with expectations, while Columbia says whatever you make is perfect.
Cool.
And they're very accepting of everything. And they're just a lot more down to earth over
Right.
at Columbia. And
Yeah,
level
that's a different mindset because now all of a sudden you've got somebody like Hayden who's like, I'm going to make the best video that I can,
Mhm.
as opposed to you have to make good content, otherwise we're not going to keep you on board. Two
Yeah.
totally different models.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's all been very recent, and it all kind of started when I went to the trade show in Orlando and met with a couple
Oh,
other companies that we were gonna start working alongside and shake some hands, meet some faces, and just, show up, show that, we do care, and we're not just gonna take the tools and run with it. We're not looking for handouts, but we want to collaborate and potential partnership down the road with a couple of these companies. So
do you
yeah.
have a loftier goal with this brand ambassadorship, for lack of a better word,
hmm
than just making videos and getting free tools?
Um,
Or is it, connection?
it's
And
more
what?
connection.
Okay.
I want to get my brand more known. So, utilizing the brand partnerships and affiliations, or however you want to call it, that's certainly helping. And, the videos we're doing and the brands we work with and trust are the best in the drywall industry.
Okay. I just
So
figured it out. Aaron wanted one of your hats.
oh,
That's why he chose you. He
that's it.
just he just wanted a hat.
It's in the mail, Aaron. Don't worry.
I think he mentions that last time I talked to him, he was like, fucking Hayden never gave me a hat. I don't know. He might be upset. I don't know.
Uh,
Very, very cool. So, Studio 204, you had worked with them previously and you
mhm,
wanted them to come on to this adventure and get some good content, which they did.
mhm.
And you're slowly unrolling this content. Well, you can talk about the video that's dropping today because this episode won't drop for a while. But
hmm
what is, just to take an example, the video that you're dropping today? Why are you dropping it today, and what is it? Why
So,
did you wait? Why did you?
so of course, so the program that Columbia has set out is Taper Tuesday. So, tapers within the drywall industry are hand selected or chosen or whatever. However, they come across people, and they are selected to highlight one tool for that month. And they utilize the hashtag Taper Tuesday. So, being today's Tuesday, I'm July's my month. This is it's part of the deal. It's part of the
Okay.
agreement.
All right. I just thought
Yeah,
of a really good idea. I feel like you should get one of their super tapers and do a shitbox video.
I don't think so. Uh,
I, I think yes. I think yes. And like just wrap yourself up. Go like J-wall. Go full J-wall. Like
oh
have
boy.
a box on your head with a slit
Yeah,
in it.
just go
And just like
crazy.
super
Put a
taper.
predator.
But do it pro. Do it pro.
Yeah.
Like take the predator and you can like get mad and throw it and like just go grab the super taper and be like,
Oh, this is so much
uh
easier.
this is what happens when when artistic people get together. But Aaron loves that kind of shit though,
Oh,
like
absolutely.
those crazy videos and stuff. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it really does. People use that super taper.
I just never had any luck with it.
Yeah, you tried it.
Of course. Yeah, I got one in the garage.
You tried the shitbox method. I've never even tried.
Of course.
I've never
So
even.
I was fire taping a commercial unit, and you know, whether it was I just bought it or I just wanted to try it, or I just, it wasn't, it's a shit box. It's
Yeah,
so dirty, so messy. I didn't
yeah,
like it. I didn't like it. I was
yeah.
up on stilts trying to carry this box around with me. No, I did not like it.
No, no. But you do like the Predator. That thing seems, well, you
Of
were running
course.
like the carbon fiber. That's a new tool, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So it's the Predator line is what it has been released. So all the carbon fiber handles and whatnot. So I started out with a level 5 taper and had a hell of a
Sure.
time with it. And
Why?
when you hold and use the level 5 compared to a Columbia tool, it is night and day. It's, you get used to the one thing, but then it's like driving a Toyota Corolla and then getting in a Mercedes Benz. It's like,
Okay.
wow, this is very different.
Clean,
Um,
like
Clean
clean,
and
sharp.
operates smooth. You're not fighting it the entire time. And it's built of better materials. It's not plastic. So if anyone wants a level 5 taper, I'm selling one.
That was a question. That was a question I was going to ask. How much money do you make off of all the tools that these companies give you? No, I'm
Yeah,
joking.
nothing.
If somebody was going to be or aspired to be some type of an influencer, they got a company that's rolling right now, what would your advice be to them?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would say so. Don't dive in with both feet and get overly excited about a potential brand deal. Keep it light and, read the market, see where your brand is at, and yeah, don't get excited and prematurely get into something that you might not like.
Right,
Yeah, and do
right.
your homework.
Yeah, I feel like part of it's just giving,
Yeah.
like karma.
Hmm.
Like it's
Hmm.
karmic. Like social media is very karmic. I'm doing an interview with Hayden. This interview is about you, but
Hmm.
you automatically reap the rewards of being inclusive and community oriented in this space.
Right.
I think that's really smart.
Mhm.
It's smart of you
Absolutely.
to take the opportunity from Colombia and create the best content that you can
Yeah.
because
Well, like you
because we
said,
want to help each
everyone,
other.
that's it. Everyone is making mediocre videos. And if you want to shine through the pack, what better way to do something than do the best you can?
Yeah, that's the advice. Shooting wise, would you have anything to, do you have any quick tips that you would pass along when you make video content that really work well for you?
Hmm. Lighting. Lighting and
Okay.
audio. That's one thing I really noticed makes a big difference.
Do you use the like special mics, the like lapel mic
Uh,
stuff?
Rode mic. We use that on the shoots, so
Okay.
we had audio synced up with the video,
But just
and
on the pro shoot, like
yeah,
if you're doing my problem with those is like I don't want to stop and fuck with it. I just want to like shoot, you
yeah.
know?
So if I'm doing something off my gimbal or drone, I know that I'm gonna overlay some music, so I don't worry about audio too much unless I'm gonna do a voiceover. But I
Okay.
tend to not do that. It's always just, throw some audio over top, unless
I
it's
guess
a
okay, I guess I could throw audio over the top with this
yeah,
if
absolutely.
I edit it on my computer.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. That would be
Yeah.
smart.
And
Or I guess if I'm doing an interview like with somebody, then I could pull out those mics.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm only using the headset here, but I mean, on your end, you'll be able to edit. I don't know how I sound, but
Sounds great.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's
you got the split screen and the microphone there, so
mhm.
it sounds
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it sounds fine. Very cool. A system or tool that you've discovered recently that you did not think would work for you very well, but now that you've tried it, it works amazing. You wouldn't do it any other way. I'm not talking about the super taper because I know you love it. I know you love the super
Uh,
tape. I know you're a closet super taper guy.
yeah. Nick, I told you we're not going to talk about that.
It's okay. It's
I'd say
okay. I'll tease it
stilts.
out. I'll tease it out of you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Stilts for sure.
Stilts. Okay.
Yeah. So I would always use the
You
two-step,
thought
three-step.
you thought stilts were stupid.
Maybe not stupid, just clunky, dangerous,
Sure. Yeah.
blah blah blah. Like I can just pick up a ladder and move it where I need it.
Of,
But
of
then
course.
when you're getting into 10-foot ceilings, you're not moving that ladder around all day, and you can just run around on stilts. And I bought my first pair off Facebook Marketplace, the
Okay.
o original Circle brands, and so then we just started working recently with Tool Pro, and they sent me a
Nice.
set. And yeah, night and day. It's same back to the old clunky
Yeah.
tools versus, they got integrated springs and better heel pads and straps and whatnot. And
Yeah.
a lot lighter. And
What size did you get, the standard size, or I think Tool Pro makes the like Renegades, like the big.
yeah, so I think
I hope I'm
mine,
right. I hope I'm right with that.
I mean, most stilts are adjustable. It goes from 12 to 24, 24, 36, 36, 48, and mine are the 36, 48s.
They
And
got them that go
that's,
up to they got them that go up to
oh, they
60.
go way bigger. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not getting into that though.
I would walk those because I'm light and nimble.
Hmm.
You probably could. You're a pretty tall guy though, I remember. So
Yes.
probably the regular stilts probably work just fine.
Yeah, exactly. When I'm all the way jacked up on those stilts, I can reach, 11, 12. So I don't need anything higher than that.
Can you reach 8 foot off the floor?
Yes.
You can. That's pretty
Yes.
cool. Is it a stretch? Is it a stretch to reach 8 foot off the floor?
No.
Not really. You can walk around do
No.
eight foot.
Yeah, elbows bent like here.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Oh yeah. I got a video. So Danny Moody,
Yeah.
uh I had a video and he posted it and he goes, "Why are you doing that way? Like you don't even need the handle." So I was like, okay, challenge accepted. So then I went and boxed a ceiling with
I
no
saw
handle.
that. You like were you pushing on?
Yeah,
You're
my
like
one hand
pushing on
like
the back.
engaged in the door, one hand holding. Yeah.
That's
He goes, "You
funny.
can do 9 foots."
I've seen those little handles. Those are cool. Like those little
Yeah.
mini handles. Those seem like they would
Yeah.
work pretty good.
A little wizard stick or something.
Yeah, they're
Whatever they're
cool.
called.
They're cool.
Yeah,
What a pleasurable interview, Hayden. And then, of course, your pearl of wisdom that you can bestow in the drywall community. What do you got?
oh boy. I guess two.
Okay.
Learn to say no. And
What does that mean? What does that mean? Learn to say no.
when running a business, maintaining client relationships and satisfying a client is very important.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's a point where getting walked over, like being taken advantage of, and you need to know when to say no and what's out of the scope and what's an additional charge. And you have to be able to have those conversations with clients. And, they're uncomfortable. It's a lot easier to say, "Yep, no problem, we'll do it." And then you end up eating the cost and you're out of pocket. And,
Yeah.
you know, at the end
More
of the day, you need,
specifically, GCs, because they're getting
yes,
you work. So they
yes.
will, what I call, beat you up. They'll beat you
Oh,
up as
yeah.
much as they can. You got to be like, I'm charging you for this, dude.
Yep,
I'm not driving all the way back out there to do a 3 hour patch for free.
definitely.
Like, I
Definitely.
appreciate you getting me jobs, but I
Yep,
have to get paid. Like that sort of
exactly.
thing, right?
Absolutely. So then there's that, and good enough is not enough.
Okay. What does that mean?
So that's just something my mom always had on the fridge growing up, and I think it's attitude. So just being lazy, not wanting to do that extra work, go that extra mile. So like if you say, "Oh, that's fine, it's good enough," it's probably not enough.
Yeah.
Keep going. Do better.
Do
Push
better.
yourself. It's in you.
Yeah.
Be patient.
Yeah.
There's no rush. There's no hurry. Do something to the best of your ability.
Yeah. Yeah. Be passionate about it. Have a little bit of passion, and pride.
Absolutely.
Makes the day. I feel like it makes the day a little better
Absolutely.
when I'm concentrated on just the project,
Yep.
not how much money I'm gonna make, my
Hmm.
time stamp, yeah, that is a fine line. That is a fine
Hmm.
line,
Hmm. Hmm.
because a lot of times you'll have to go back. I just finished that fireplace, little fireplace and a hood and fresco harmony. And I mean, she's picky, but she
Yeah.
like, the GC, she's like, there's this little thing. I mean, there's a little bit of white around the opening on the fireplace. And I mean, it's still mud, it's crumbly, it's
Yeah.
not paint. You're not getting like this perfect
Cut
edge.
line.
And then
Right.
yeah, there was the sealer was a little dark in one area, so you're getting this like multicolored surface. Sometimes it's not going to be perfect.
Right.
Um, but she had these two areas she wants me to look at. I'll go take a look at them. It's okay.
You'll make it right.
Yeah, yeah, that part gets challenging for sure.
Hmm. Hmm.
Very cool. I appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy. Hayden Durocher, Warminster, Ontario, Duro Tech Design Ltd. You're doing some phenomenal stuff. Just what a great interview. If people want to find you on social media, Instagram's a great place to start. What's your Instagram handle?
Instagram, Duro.tech, and same as Facebook.
Okay. And are you getting into YouTube?
I thought about it. Like I said, though, social media is already
Yeah.
consuming enough of my hours, so I don't think in the near future. But if we're doing more tool stuff and highlights and stuff like that, I don't see why we wouldn't jump over to that.
Sure. And TikTok, you have a presence on there.
Yeah, we're on there, but we're not posting. We're not very active.
Yeah, me either. What else is there? I think that's pretty much it. Maybe have a LinkedIn. I don't know.
Nope, no LinkedIn.
No
No,
LinkedIn.
no.
LinkedIn's so weird. It's a weird one. I've been on there for like 12 years. I've got it's just such a weird platform though. Very
It's
challenging.
it's interesting, but
Yeah,
it's just another thing that consumes more time.
totally. Totally. Thank you so much, Hayden. We'll talk soon. I'm looking forward to seeing where your journey goes. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, man.
Yeah, thanks, Nick, and yeah, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. We'll talk soon.
Okay, bye, Nick.
Later. Shout out to Hayden for being with us on the Drywall Podcast today. I certainly appreciate your time and your knowledge, and I look forward to seeing you on your path. You are certainly an inspiration. Guests of the Drywall Podcast will receive a sweet swag bucket from our friends at CSR, filled with all kinds of cool drywall goodies. All you have to do is come on the Drywall Podcast and tell your story, and you will get bestowed with amazing things. Not only that, a lot of attention to your social media platforms. If you're interested in coming on the Drywall Podcast, reach out to me directly at info@frescoharmony.com and let's chat. I'd love to hear from you. The Drywall Podcast can be listened to every Friday with new episodes on your favorite platforms such as, but not limited to, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and also YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. If you are finding value in this content, I hope you all have an amazing weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And remember, keep drywalling.